Hi, everyone. I'm very excited about today. And we have every week, there's a woman with a very unique story to tell her own story. And that's really crucial for us. So today we're having Bianca Jade, and she has sent a request. We may be go live. Sometimes it works, and sometimes we need to give it another moment. Let's see how what one is going to be having. And here she is with tremendous ease and glide, just like your vocals, Bianca.
Don't you love
So,
it? Thank you.
just like your vocals. So, welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations with thought leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, musicians, educators, attorneys, every walk of life, every type of career and life path that can be imagined, in which we deep dive into the experiences these women have needed to navigate and conquer in order to have achieved the personal and professional success they have at this point in time. I'm Dr. Risa Reiger, clinical psychologist, and I'm an expert in change. And here's what I know, that positive change can happen at any point in time. You're never too late. But in order to create change, we need to disrupt. We need to disrupt a thought, a feeling, a belief, a habit, a behavior in order to create our 10.0 lives. And today, to help us with her journey, her story, and her voice, I'm very thrilled to bring to our community and for us to share communities, Bianca Jade. So let me read you a little bit about Bianca Jade. She is a rising R&B powerhouse. Originally from Miami, Florida, the Cuban Jamaica singer-songwriter focuses on bringing light and empowerment to her listeners, especially women. Inspired by female soul crooners such as Aretha Franklin and Alicia Keys. That is great company to be in. Bianca introduces a soulful approach to R&B that is well ahead of her years. Since breaking through with her debut album, Be Light, in 2017, she's gone on to perform with Jordan Sparks, JoJo, as well as being on all sorts of platforms, BET, iHeartRadio, and NBC6's In the Mix in South Florida. And her latest album has been, go ahead.
My EP, my EP Flower by the Sundial is out now, and it recently just passed over 100,000 streams on Spotify.
So I couldn't have said it better, so I wanted you to say it for yourself. uh, so what a time to have you on. And Bianca's going to be here to share, her truth, her wisdom, her journey, and really what it is that is inspiring her and how she wants to inspire, because that's part of her commitment. So Bianca, welcome and thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. We talked about it earlier, but I just wanted to say thank you again. I really appreciate you for reaching out to me for this.
It's really a joy. And one of the things that I love about Disruptive Conversations is really the breadth of women who are on and who come on with open hearts to really share not just their story, but really share parts of who they are with the community. And that's what rings through so powerfully and importantly. So Bianca, what is it that you needed to disrupt in yourself in order to have achieved and created what you have personally and professionally up to this point in time? Because there's always more to come.
Mm, I I would say the biggest thing that I needed to disrupt to be where I am today is to disrupt just negative self-talk and disrupt overthinking. A lot of the times the things that we think about ourselves and the belief system that we have about ourselves and what we're capable of is everything, and it affects It affects the opportunities that you'll go for. It affects the, the kind of people that you'll attract, the kind of opportunities that you'll attract, and just how you live your everyday life. So, just simply believing in yourself and that you're capable of the things that you want to achieve is step one. And that's really important.
So if you could bring us into your internal
Yeah.
conversation, and it doesn't have to, just to one. Did you notice one that you said to yourself, you started to hear yourself, and you said to yourself, I'm going to stop this one. This needs a reboot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, like for example, like going to, if I see an opportunity to apply for a performance, or if there's an audition coming up, there would be times where I thought to myself like, oh, this is too big of an opportunity. Like, why would they consider me for this? And I had to change that mindset and remind myself of not just what I have achieved in the past with the resources that I have, and the talent and skill that I've developed over time, but also, like, you miss every shot that you don't take. So that I had to change that. I had to realize, like, okay, if I am going to give myself a chance, like, I have to not stop myself. I can't be the one to say no to myself, because as an artist, there's a lot of rejection that comes with being an artist. You get told no a lot, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with people saying no, and thinking of that not as rejection but as redirection. And so that was a big shift for me as an artist, was just looking at rejection as like, okay, either it's no, and I have to find a different avenue, or it's not right now, or not through this specific path. So that's what I've learned from that.
Yeah, because no doesn't mean never.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean never. It just means okay, what can I do differently the next time around? Or maybe this person that I've reached out to is not the person that I'm supposed to collaborate with, or the person that I'm supposed to work with or reach out to for this. And so yeah, that's a big part of it as an artist, is just being okay with rejection.
I find that, oftentimes in my work with women, and certainly women who are, you know, on the path of their career,
Mm-hmm.
that they may feel like they're not quite ready for something.
Mm.
And what I say to them, and I'm wondering how this sits with you, and what I say to them is, whatever that looks like, your resume, your CV, have you lied on your CV?
Ooh.
I said,
Ooh.
lied on your resume? And they kind of take a moment and they say, well, no, I haven't. Well, then you're not misrepresenting yourself. I mean, you're not coming in for a more, for a particular position or a particular gig, a particular recording, whatever it is that you're coming to, with a padded, with not saying your truth and the truth of your experience.
Right, exactly.
So if somebody decides, oh yeah, let's have her come and audition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to just go for it. And there's been plenty of times where I've shown up to, an audition, for example, or showed up to an appearance or something that I thought was going to help me elevate my career in a way, and for whatever reason it didn't work out. But at that same time, I was able to connect with certain people that I was able to collaborate with, or that reached out to me for other opportunities. So the timing is always right. I believe that God's timing is perfect. So wherever it is that you are in your life right now, you are meant to be in that place in your life, and there's lessons to learn, and there's things for you to do with what you have. So just use the resources that you have right now.
And be able to recognize them in yourself. So I make an important distinction between just, kind of repetition and being used to something. So that becomes your go-to because it just feels very intuitive. But that's not really where intuition lives. Intuition doesn't necessarily live in repetition, what we've practiced, but a different place in which we connect internally with
It
ourselves.
lives
And
in outside of your comfort zone. At least from what I've found is that you really see your capability when you step outside of your comfort zone.
right. I like how you're saying step out of your comfort zone, and that's another way of talking about feeling uncomfortable. And we have such an aversion to feeling uncomfortable, as although that's going to make me uncomfortable. So therefore, I'll turn away and keep walking.
Right.
Therefore, I'll not do that, not try that, not put myself out
Yeah.
there. And what is it that you connect to that you can say, well, yes, and I'm going to do that?
Right. So saying yes to yourself and, just I think a big thing for me is that I've just decided that okay, to live the life that I want to live and to achieve the dreams that I have, what version of myself do I have to be? And where in my life have I aligned with that and where have I not aligned with that? And how can I change that? And that's the biggest thing is like, okay, how do I fit myself into this new version of myself? And the answer 100% of the time involves getting uncomfortable. So like actually it's so funny because yesterday one of my best friends, I was talking to her about, we were talking about fitness and things like that, and I said to her, I was like, it's just so uncomfortable for me to change this. And she's like, well, life is not about being comfortable. I'm like, you know what? You're right. And it took that from somebody that I love and that I trust to be able to tell me that and be very truthful with me that life is not about being comfortable. And I've shown that to myself also, in my music career, in anything that I, want to achieve in life. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
So, how did you choose music as your career path?
I chose music as a career path when I was a child. I've always loved music. I've been singing since I was about 9 years old. I've always loved music. I've always loved singing. My mom used to play Aretha Franklin for me when I was a kid, and I would sing along with her and try to emulate her voice. And I've just always loved music and soul music, and I've resonated so much with powerful, soulful singers, and some would say divas. And I feel like the most powerful version of myself when I sing and when I share my music and when I share my voice with people. So that's I just have always known like this is a big part of my life. So I'm gonna make it my career.
That's so important. And there are different careers and paths that people choose, and some
Mhm.
of them are more paved than others.
Right.
Some of them, like I have to get from here to here, and then from there to there, and it's more prescriptive. And
Yes.
that is very, very different. I'm not in the music business, but I know people who are and have taken that path, and it is very not that.
You're right. There's no formula. There's no formula to success as an artist or as a musician in any capacity. If you're a performing artist, there's no formula to being successful. It's just you just try things and whatever works, you develop that, and whatever doesn't work, you move on to something else.
So it sounds like a path of really iteration. You give this a try, you give that a try, and iteration and creativity, and,
Mm-hmm.
and being open to possibility, and the possibility of making a relationship, a connection, of just saying hello to someone, because
Yes.
as we say in my, one of the things we say is that you never know. right? You never know.
You never know. And it's also, it's a process of trial and error. It's also, your network is a big part of it. Being able to reach out to your network is a huge resource, as an artist. And I think also, in other fields or in other career paths as well, your network is really important. So, developing your network, being kind to people, putting yourself out there consistently, and not being afraid to put yourself out there. That's your job as an artist, is to present yourself, and present what it is that I stand for, and what my brand is as an artist. Like, that's things that creative people don't really think about. They just kind of want to make the music or make the art, but you don't think about who you are as an artist, like packaging yourself in a way that it resonates with people and that they can identify it. And then also, I think as an artist, you have to be okay with receiving feedback from people, and either take it with a grain of salt, or ask yourself, okay, does this actually apply to me, and how can I actually implement this going forward, and being okay with receiving feedback and constructive criticism. A lot of us artists are very sensitive, so you have to be okay with that, with constructive criticism, with rejection, with all of that, and just have a very strong belief in yourself and in your art.
It's an interesting duality in that in order to really be impactful
Mm-hmm.
a as a singer, that you need vulnerability to be
Right.
able to communicate, and also to be able to get out there and get yourself seen and heard and paid attention to. You also have to have okay, you kind of get yourself ready and like, okay, now I'm going to go. And it's a very interesting, like, two different spaces to be in.
Yeah, and you would think after so many years that it would get easier, but I still get nervous when I get on stage.
Yeah.
And I think that's a healthy thing as an artist too, to have a little bit of nerves, because you care about your performance, and you care about the way that people receive your performance too. Um, so I still get nerves when I get on stage, but it's also, it's nerves mixed with excitement and adrenaline. you know?
Right. And nervous is not our enemy.
No, it actually, it just kind of like heightens your awareness and heightens your performance.
So how did you decide, you were very wisely realized that whether you choose it or not, there are going to be certain aspects that become your brand, right?
Hmm.
And that either you're intentional about it and specific about it, or it's going to be attributed to you anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's I think, and when I say brand, it's more so like just identifying the things that make you who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to reflect and look inwardly, and find out those things about yourself. The things that you love now. What did you love as a child? Like, for example, like my favorite color for forever has been purple, but I didn't decide to make purple like my color for my artist brand until I released my first EP. But then, I would look back on pictures from when I was little, and I always loved purple. My room was purple. Like, my friends would like pick out purple things for me. So, certain things are just innately a part of who you are. And if you're able to identify that, and utilize that for your art or for your creativity, it makes it easier, and it makes it more authentic to you, because you're not going to want to choose things that aren't authentic to you.
So I was just glancing down at your bio because I read that you want to bring light and empowerment to your listeners, especially women, and you've been inspired, and you also want to inspire. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to just inspire. other women to become singers and to perform. But what is it that you want to communicate? Because this is very personal. It's kind of intimate in some ways,
Yeah.
because you're really sharing part of the essence of who you are. And so, what is it that you want to inspire or influence or empower, or all of those? Inspire, influence, and empower.
Right. I think they're kind of all like interchangeable or used together, right? But I want to inspire people to just live unapologetically to being themselves and to live in a way that makes them feel true to themselves. And so yeah, not necessarily that you have to be a singer, or that you even have to create art for a living. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, if I make art, or if I have this hobby, that I have to do it for a living. But that's not necessarily true. I think people just in general should have a creative outlet. Um, that's just part of who we are as human beings, is creating, and I think it's healthy. But I also, yes, I think that I want to inspire people to to just be unapologetically themselves, and to embrace that.
One of the reasons why I'm smiling is that I unapologetically will sing. And
As you
it's not,
should.
I will unapologetically sing at times when I'm in the car with people and the song comes on and we're like full on. And we should really make sure the windows are totally rolled up. But we need we need to have self-expression. And if you're not singing, then dance. If you're not dancing, then doodle. If you're not doodling, then bake. If you're not baking, then something else. But
Yeah.
there's something about our humanness that needs to come out and emerge in a way that really gives us another dimension of who we are, and gives us another dimension to share, whether we want to share just with ourselves and have our own thing.
Hmm.
Like if you want to you have your own, music, and you are in your room and you close the door and you have your dance sesh with yourself.
Right. Well, that's how it starts, or that's how it started for me, was just writing songs, at my piano in my bedroom, and just expressing myself to myself, and then later on I started sharing it with other people, and then they resonated with the music, or like were able to identify with themselves, within the music. So I think it's a gift to be able to create and share with people. Um, so that's what I love about being an artist, is being able to connect with people through music. And and if people come to my shows and sing along with me and feel free enough to sing along with me and express themselves that way, I've done my job. That's so you singing in the car along to the music, the artist has done their job. Oops, sorry.
Fantastic. Well, when you come to New York and you're out there, and you're performing and I'm there and the crowd is singing with you, I promise you that whatever I've got, I will be in it with you.
Beautiful.
Okay, for those moments. Now, I did have the pleasure of listening to you, here, and I made sure that I wanted to hear you. And you have got there's something in your I may not be using all the correct adjectives, but in your tonality, how you express the lift that you have, even when you're singing in a way that's a softer singing, there's still this lift that you have and a light that you have.
Thank you.
So how do you do that?
Everybody has their essence, and I think mine, part of my mission as an artist is to lift people up through music. Some people, some artists make music that is just for you to kind of escape and to be able to enjoy the moment or to enjoy a party or whatever. Some music is for you to, you know, be sad to and be able to feel those feelings. I think my music in general is meant to lift you up and to motivate you or to inspire you. So that's just my essence, and I think it comes through the music.
Well, you make it come through. You know, you make it come through. I think that's a kind of an internal commitment.
It's an
And
internal dialogue, right, that I'm having with myself because I'm writing these songs. When I write the music, I'm usually writing it for myself. But then other people resonate with it. So it's like I'm having this internal dialogue of like lifting myself up and motivating myself. And then when I put it out, people are also like, I need that too, you know? So that's kind of, yeah, it's an internal dialogue, I guess.
it is, and it's an internal dialogue that then you're able to connect to, commit to, and
Mm-hmm.
then really bring that forth in a way that someone else can connect there with you. That's what a special spot that is, huh?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't think about it that way, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, that's how I felt in my experience of listening to you and watching you, because it was also I was watching the video of how you move and how you invite.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us, as we're coming down to the wire here, it's such a joy to speak to you. So Bianca, what is your next disruption?
My next disruption, my next disruption, I would say, is disrupting distractions. I'm working on time management because I have so many you know, goals and things that I want to create for myself and that I want to just create in general. I have a lot of ambition, and I'm realizing, like, you know, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. How can I utilize my time in the best way, in the most productive way? How can I set aside time for my health? How can I set that's like well rounded, you know, creating, you know, working, setting aside time for my health and time for just self-care and my personal, you know, well-being. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
That's a really important spot, because in order for any of us and for each of us to be able to really do what we do and give what we want to give, we must really embrace our own
Mhm.
wellness and what wellness looks like. And rather than it being, well, when I have time or when I get through my list, I will.
Right.
That this is part of your list. It may not be at the top of your list every single moment, but it needs to be on your list. And as I say, and it's not after, like, and after I buy the potatoes, then I will.
Right.
I mean, you know, give yourself a space of priority
Yes,
while, while
you have to.
we're in relationship.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I've heard this, you know, iterated in so many different ways, but you need to uh, you know, prioritize yourself in order to be able to fill other people's cups. You have to fill your own cup before you fill other people's cups. Hi Ron, what's up? Say hi to my friend.
Oh,
Um,
great. Yeah. So I want to, we've come to very, very quickly, we've come to an end, and I want to thank you so much for filling our cups today with your vision, your heartfulness, your insights, and really sharing all of that with us. I can't tell you, I wish you all the best. And, and certainly for anyone who isn't familiar, this is their first moment of meeting you. What a great invitation. What a great opportunity you've had to meet Bianca, and you get to follow her. And for anyone who's missed any part of this Instagram live, don't worry about it. It's going to be posted on our Instagrams. You can come back, you can listen to it again, you can share it with people who need to hear this. And with that, we're going to take our cover shot. And so thank you so very much for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been so nice talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. You ready? We're going to take our question.
Yes.
Okay. And one more. Okay, that's because women, we love to have options. We want to have options.
We need this side and I need this side.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so thanks everyone for coming to Disruptive Conversations today. I'll see you next week. Remember that positive change can happen at any point, and that when I see you next time, remember that I've saved a seat for you. See you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.